Welcome back, YouTube. Today we're going to be doing another book comparison here. 2 volumes from the Folio Society. This is Cicero'S Orations, a more recent book. I believe they still sell it. And this is an older book from the Folio Society, Cicero's On the Good Life. So we're going to take a look at both books, what both of them include, and if any of them include the same thing, we're going to maybe read through a little bit of them and see how they compare in terms of their translation. So let's take a look at Cicero's Orations. Please watch my independent video of both these reviews. So we're just going to jump through and we're going to see. So this is translated with introduction and notes by D.H. Barry. So that's the Barry translation here. And let's open up this book here. And we'll put that slipcase aside there. And let's open it up and see who the translator is. The translator is Michael Grant for this particular book. So, let's see what this book includes. So we have, of course, the standard here, preface, abbreviations, introduction, notes on the translation, notes on the Latin text, and chronology. So, let's go through the individuals here. So we have the rise of the Novus Homo, Prorisco, I'm sorry, I can read Latin, but it's hard to read upside down. So I'll just flip it over and then I'll tell you what the book includes. So, Proroscio Amerino in verum. Okay, that probably means nothing to you guys, so I'll just go quickly in the English. Ferocius and Ameria against Verus, the Catiliarnian conspiracy. Against Catiline, the high office, for Marina, for Archias, return from exile, for Archelaus, for Milo, the dawn of autocracy, for Marcius, and Philippix. So that's what this book includes, and that's Cicero's Orations. Now let's go through and see what this volume includes. Let's open it up here. So we have on the good life, on duties, service, on duties, practical code of behavior, Cato the elder, on the orator, on friendship, on the state, the ideal form of government, the dream of Scipio. Okay, so these books, which is good in a way, do not overlap in terms of their contents. But nonetheless, why don't we go through and read a portion of this book and a portion of this book and just see how the translations are. So let's pick an interesting one here. Let's see. Let's do the rise of the Novus Homo here. So let's go to page 3 here. So that's interesting how it does it here. So it says the date, the defendant, the law, the charge, prosecutors, defense advocate, the presiding magistrate, and the verdict. So, Proroscio Amerino, Ferocius and Ameria, so called to distinguish it from the speech for a different Roscius, another trial here, was Cicero's first speech in a criminal court. Given when he was just 26 years old, he bravely spoke out against some of the more unsavory aspects of the Sullan regime, although taking care to absolve Sulla himself from blame. And here we go. Let's read what Cicero wrote. I imagine you must be wondering, members of the jury, why it is that, when there are so many leading orators and men of the highest rank present here in this court, I, of all people, should have stood up to address you. For neither in age, nor in ability, nor in authority do I bear comparison with these men who have remained seated. All those whom you see here supporting my client believe that in this case a wrong has been perpetrated, arising from an act of unprecedented criminality, and that it ought to be resisted. But to resist it themselves they have not the courage, considering the unfavorable times in which we live. That's Cicero's Orations there on Promerino. Now let's just read a little portion from here, although they will not compare because I don't believe in here there's anything in terms of... Actually, we'll go to the orator here on 244 and just read apart from there. 243 and 244. Let's see here. Okay. I think about the old days very often, my brother, and whenever I do so, I am constantly struck by the extraordinary, happy fortune of the men who lived in the age when the Republic was at its best. Noble careers came their way, and great fame, and yet all their political activities did not involve them in the smallest personal danger, and if they retired from politics, they were able to retire honorably. There was once a time when I, too, imagined that I might well become entitled, with more or less universal approval, to retire from the public life and devote my thoughts to the wonderful studies we both love so much. A great translation as well. I'm happy that, although some people do like it, it's not a more archaic or older translation. It's a more recent, modern, contemporary translation. So it's easier for those who are not acquainted with the more obsolete English terms to just sit down and read it for leisure. So that's great for the non-scholar, but as well as for the scholar as well. And it's not really necessary to have more than one translation of the exact same text when it comes to this, unless you're studying it to see what the difference, what's lost in translation. I'll continue doing more of these comparisons and reviews. I have a few more books coming in the mail, so please stay tuned, and you'll see those unboxings and reviews as well. Don't forget, you can always request a particular book, or for me to go back and re-review a particular book if I missed something or I haven't gone into enough detail for you guys. Don't forget to rate, to comment, and to subscribe. And as always, guys, keep on reading.